So, if you are here now watching this video, you have either come in to make up some missed time, or I was not in class to begin with, and this is your perfect opportunity for you to get caught up with what? Transcendentalism. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so the last couple of days we've talked about the Great Awakening and the changes in society that came about during this time period. We talked about the idea of religious, I won't say fanaticalism, but definitely a strong pull towards religion amongst American society. Um, Transcendentalism is kind of an offshoot of that, not so much a spiritual and the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit type of a thing, but more of a philosophical movement which emphasized the simplicity of life, finding truth in nature, personal emotion, and imagination. It's all about individuals becoming one with themselves, one with nature, and one with their environment. Okay, tied in with the American ideals of freedom, optimism, and self-reliance. What else do we have about it? Followers sought to transcend. Okay, move across the limits of reason and intellect and allow the soul to attain a relationship, a mystical oneness with the universe. All right, so we are trying to achieve a oneness with the universe. Okay, getting out of our physical state into a higher emotional and intellectual state. Some key figures to know about when we talk about transcendentalism is Ralph Waldo Emerson, a philosopher, a lecturer, an essayist. Okay, he is essentially the father of the transcendentalist movement. All right, he's the one that's going to kick things off early on, and I will not call him a disciple, but you could call him a disciple if you wanted to, is Henry David Thoreau, yet another author and a poet. Thoreau took this idea of transcendentalism to the extreme by moving out of his comfortable home, and he moved into a small house, basically a shack, almost like a tool shed that somebody might have out back of their house. He lived there for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. Okay, his idea was to fully experience the essence of transcendentalism, okay, praising nature, a simple life, and self reliance. And that's what he did during that time period. He's also known for the idea of civil disobedience because he refused to pay taxes while he was living in this little piece of property. He's like, no, I'm not telling you I'm just not going to do it. I'm not making a big stink. I'm not trying to burn down government buildings. I'm just not going to do it. My own personal perspective, if I can put my personal perspective in here, the interesting thing about these transcendentalists, they are all of a certain social economic level. Let's face it. If you are struggling to survive, to put food on the table, to make ends meet, you really don't have the time to kind of achieve a oneness with your environment. Okay, and for all of his actions, Henry David Thoreau had his mama come out there uh, with his clean laundry every week or two, basically. So he wasn't fully removed. Okay, a lot of these guys came from money, so we're looking at folks of the middle class and upper middle class backgrounds. Just an observation. Just an observation. So we've got an image of the Thoreau House, and as an FYI, I used to live in Boston, and if you were to go up to Walden Pond, which still exists, you could catch a model of his house, and you could see just how small it actually is. Again, it's like living in a backyard shed, which at times I'm thinking that would be pretty cool if you had heat and electricity and Wi-Fi and all that stuff. Might not be too bad. The bathroom issue, nah, be a little bit of a problem, but we can work around it. All right. Along with this idea of transcendentalism, it's going to grow. It's going to grow real fairly big. Okay. It's going to grow pretty big, and folks are going to take it to this next level. We're trying to achieve this oneness with nature and oneness with our environments, and sometimes achieving this, oneness is best done in groups of 5 to 20s to 30ish. All right, and we will get folks that are deep into this transcendental movement, moving into communities together, creating these utopian type environments, or what they believe to be utopian type environments. And during this time period of the Great Awakening, there's going to be more than 50 utopian communities that are going to pop up all around the country. Okay, mostly in the Northeast and in the Midwest, those type of areas. But it's a it's 20, 30, 40, 50 families getting together, or individuals getting together to try and live this transcendental lifestyle. Now, most of these communities are going to be agrarian in nature, meaning that they're going to be farmers, which makes sense because you are becoming one with your environment, one with nature. You're getting away from the mechanical trappings of the industrial world. Each member of the community is going to be encouraged to work at farming tasks that they like the best, and so you can kind of hit that chi, dare I say? Do I dare bringing some far east kind of spirituality with this while we talk about transcendentalism? I don't know, but anyways, yeah, to work the task that they like best. So you're doing something that you enjoy doing, which will help you reach that higher state of being. Okay, every member is going to be paid the same wages, including women. Okay, so we're all equal here. There's no petty jealousies, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get away from the mechanical trappings of the growing industrial world. We are trying to become one with ourselves and one with nature, and we are trying to rid ourselves of those types of emotions that can be very what's the word I'm looking for? That could be very detrimental to society. These communities are going to be self-supported, okay, through the farming. Hey, we grow what we eat what we grow. But also, they're going to be selling various handmade goods and stuff. And of course, they will charge admission for those folks that are like, "What's up with these crazy utopian people? What they got going? Let's go see what this utopian farm stuff is all about." And they're going to charge for fees to those people, so that they're going to stick around for a while. We've got a couple that are some of the more favorite ones. Okay, the one in New Harmony, Indiana, founded by Robert Owens, going to last about 2 years, which isn't that long, but 2 years, think about it, that's a long time to kind of work towards this particular mindset. The probably the more famous of those is the Brook Farm Utopian Community in Massachusetts, founded by George Ripley. That one's going to last about 6 years. Okay, and why do these things fall apart typically? Jealousies, petty jealousies, things are going to kick in. It's hard to attain that ideal utopian mentality. There's always going to be something in there where folks are a little bit jealous here and there, and sometimes these communities fall apart because people are just they just kind of wander away from it. Okay, I've done this for 2 years. I feel I've gotten all of it out of this that I can get out of this. Now I'm going to go ahead and practice this back in my comfortable townhouse back in Boston. Or folks are just going to get totally disenfranchised, or just lose interest in the whole thing. Disillusioned, that's the word I was looking for, not disenfranchised, but become disillusioned by the whole process. Yeah, well, I'm actually working harder than Steve, yet I'm getting the same wages as Steve. And that just doesn't seem right. And so that's going to be the reason why a lot of these things fall apart. People wandering away, arguments over finances, things along those lines. One group that is going to stay together for quite some time, but these guys popped up prior to the big, kind of societal push towards transcendentalism during the Great Awakening, is going to be the Shakers. All right, we're going to see these guys pop up in the mid 1700s. All right, just before the Great Awakening period really kicked off. But unlike the other ones that lasted, a few years, these cats are going to last up into the mid 1900s. Okay, I think when I was reading, doing some additional reading, I saw that the in 1920 there were about 12 Shaker communities left. Okay, at the high point they had 30 some odd communities. All right, and by the was it by 2019 or so there was one left, and it was mostly kind of a touristy type of a thing. I could be wrong about that last piece, but the Shakers in general, I mean, they lasted for quite some time. And what makes it interesting, with the Shakers, and I'll come back to this slide in a second, is that men and women lived separately. They didn't have kids. So you're thinking to yourself, Mr. Johnson, how do they continue to thrive if they're not having kids and reproducing and stuff? What's up with that, Mr. Johnson? Well, they would recruit individuals, or they would take in orphans and bring the orphans up. And at an age the orphans wanted to stay, they would stay and live the lifestyle, or if they wanted to, they could go on about their own way. But folks would see this and say, yeah, this is a good thing. This is a good way of living. Getting out of that, again, away from all of the trappings of the industrialized world, okay? We're going to leave all those trappings behind and kind of get back to this more simplistic lifestyle um, that focuses on, achieving a higher level of emotional and spiritual well-being. It's really kind of interesting. Also about the Shakers, unlike the other groups that were founded by men, okay, Robert Owen, George Ripley, the Shakers are going to be founded by a female, okay, Mother Ann Lee, all right? And the Shakers are going to act as if, or treat everybody 100% equal, okay? Women are going to have positions throughout the organization and leadership roles throughout the organization. Okay, they're going to have equal say and, of course, equal pay as the men along the way. And their idea about this was that since men and women were equal in the eyes of God, they should be treated equally on earth. Oh, if our contemporary society just saw things the same exact way, that would be nice. The Shakers also were able to survive so long because of their flourishing economy. When we talk about selling craft goods, okay, if you do a little bit of history research and art research, you look at folk art by the Shakers, they got that stuff hanging in museums, and also Shaker style furniture, Shaker furniture. They've got thousands of knockoff pieces now, but Shaker furniture, for the longest period of time, had been known as being very, very durable, very well made, and very solid type furnishings. The quality stuff is the best of the best type of a thing, and that's one of the things that helped carry them and support them for such a long period of time. So, yeah, the Quakers are definitely interesting. And if you are taking this class in the spring of 2021 or beyond, okay, if I don't redo this recording by that time period, you will be working on an assignment in which you develop your own utopian society. But since I'm recording this in the fall of 2020, guess what, guys? You don't have to do it. All right? Having said all that, this was just a really quick, brief run through on transcendentalism. Again, this is just kind of a supplement. I'm thinking that I probably won't be in class tomorrow. So I wanted to make sure you guys had this, or for folks who are coming to this lesson, particular module on module 4.6 on reform movements and everything, and you happen to miss the class and you needed to get caught up with something. So, anywho, that's all I've got to say for now. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will catch up with you soon. Peace. Peace. Out of here.